Just be yourself, man. In today's society, we oftentimes hear that your happiness is tied to the way you express yourself. But what does that really mean? Who are you? What is self? Is it whatever I feel? Is it maybe my desire? Or perhaps something that society tells me? Who am I? Maybe you live in a Great Britain and you consider yourself to be proud British citizen. I am British. I'm British. Maybe you're a white man, such as me, and you say, hey, I'm a white man. I'm better than you. Or maybe you feel like your body, by being muscular and fit, maybe that's who you are. Or perhaps the amount of money you make and the car you drive and the house you have. Maybe that is actually who you are. So if I take away your money, are you still you? Or did you disappear? If I take your body and I cut off your hand or leg, do you still exist? What is you? Who are you? If I move you from Great Britain and into some island, or if I move you to Mars and you have to live the rest of your life in Mars with aliens, are you still you? You see, so the real question is, how do we actually discover who we really are? And this is a tough one because you have layers and layers and layers of information throughout your life that basically defined you. Like me, Jan, maybe somebody who knows me from school says, hey, Jan is this guy who knows about this subject this much. Jan is an expert on international relations, you should talk to him. And somebody who knows me from my business career will say, hey, you need help with marketing and sales? Talk to Jan, he has an agency. Okay, great. So Jan is a marketing guy. Say, hey, Jan just lost 25 kilograms. Maybe you should talk to him about intermittent fasting. Who's really Jan? Because that's somebody I've created over time, but it's not me. Who am I? You see, I don't think self is an illusion. I think self is a very real thing. I don't think that. I actually know that. We put layers and layers and layers on top of our personality over the years, and it's very hard to navigate through it. And oftentimes we lose touch with who actually are we? Who were we when we were 4 years old, then 15, and now I'm 25? Who am I? What's happening to me? The society tells us you should follow your heart. Follow who you are, man. Just do yourself, man. So these layers that I'm talking about are created through following our goals or desires or identifying as somebody based on society, nationality or something like that. And in Islam, these things are called nafs. Basically your desires. You're trying to chase these things to add them to yourself. And you're kind of clouding yourself with these things. But actually chasing these desires or these things that you think will fulfill you, whether that's a job, profession, house, woman, family, anything like that, well, is actually a losing battle. There's never enough desires for a man's heart to fulfill him. So this results oftentimes in trauma, depression, anxiety, mental health, which is so common nowadays. Why? Well, because our people are chasing their desires, man. You should really buy that Kanye Yeezy sneakers. That will really make you a man. I really want a house outside of London, like really nice house, and it's just gonna be cool. We're gonna be near the forest. It's gonna be just me and 4 kids, and we're gonna have a great life. Just that. All these things are false. Why do you think that if happiness comes from self-actualization or self-expression or self-finding, discovering yourself, why do you think that people who, let's say they discover their talent as a singer and they become a professional singer and eventually a huge success, so they get the money, the fame, and everything that comes with that, why do you think that so many people who discover this talent are so depressed? And a lot of them actually kill themselves and they commit suicide, which is the total opposite of what they should be doing. They should be completely happy and blissed because they have finally self-actualized. They have found what they were looking for. but it doesn't seem logical. Like, what's wrong? Something is missing. Why? If people even reach their goal, they've been dreaming about their whole life, and they are miserable. What's going on here? There must be something different. You see, so that's why it's important to have religion in your life. And if you're watching this and you're somebody who really is turned off by this, well, I'm sorry, but this is what it is. Concept of ruh, or soul, in Islam, but also other major religions, or minor, I don't know, is oftentimes basically described as you. So what is that? It's you, the thing that was created in your mother's womb by God. And basically, this thing lives in you. This is your soul. And if you die, this thing will still live on. So your body will decay, your mind will no longer work. But this soul will still be around. And this is actually you. If I strip you away from your nationality, from your sexuality, from all the things you've been told by society and all the things that you desire, what are you left with? What do you really have? Well, it's you. It's that feeling that maybe when you wake up you have, or perhaps, I don't know, if you were in a quantum vacuum, you would feel like, okay, there's nothing here, but I'm still observing it. The thing that's observing the nothing, that's you. So that still exists, and that's the soul. That's consciousness. Basically, consciousness is the soul. But science cannot prove consciousness. Nobody can measure it. Nobody can see it. I don't see consciousness. Maybe it's all in your head. Maybe this world doesn't even exist. But I'm not talking about that. But essentially, nobody can see consciousness. It's the big problem in science. Your soul is the most important thing you have in this life, because it's the only thing that will live on, and you should really take care of it. The way you take care of it is not like a physical exercise or, by chasing something. It's a spiritual exercise. It's actually the opposite of that, but it's similar. So if you want a good body, you really need to work out, and you really need to eat better and change your lifestyle. The same goes for your soul. If you want to feel better, you want to have a great life in terms of tranquility and be kind of in peace, the only way you will ever achieve that state is by getting rid of all your nafs, so all your desires and all your, goals that are in a way material in this world, because they will all be destroyed at the end by time, and you will benefit from them for a couple of years or maybe a couple of minutes, and then you'll be again back to reality. So you'll be again in touch with your soul. These desires, they actually cloud your soul. They are like layers. And so to get rid of them, it's very difficult, right? But it is possible. And it is possible through a strict, regiment, ritualistic religion. This means, let's say you have to wake up at 6 a.m. and pray before the dawn, before the sunrise. Then you have to pray 4 times in that day. So this was the first prayer, then four more prayers. Then you have to stay away from alcohol and all these things. Then you give people charity. Then you do good deeds. Then you disconnect from the material world. You're not associating with things you own. You don't associate with car. You don't associate with house, because this is just a thing. As your body, you should be taking care of it, but it's just a vehicle. And the more you do these things, the more you peel the layer out, and eventually you get down to you. And then you can really get connected to yourself. As I've mentioned, you have to do this through some ritualistic practices as a new way of life. And the best example is Islam, because it's not only religion, but it's also a way of life. Meaning, if I'm a Christian, what do? Well, I do the things I'm obliged to do, but there's not much rituals going on. I just pray on Sunday, maybe before I go to bed, but generally it's not that strict. If you take Islam, for example, it's very strict. It actually confines you very much. It gives you very, very real boundaries to how you should behave with the opposite sex, how you should conduct business, what you should do here and here. And so it's very constrictive, and people may think, man, you're constricting yourself. You should be free to express yourself. By what we just said, the more you constrict the physical, the material thing, the more you get in touch with the ruh, your soul, and the more beneficial will be your spiritual life, which is the only life you have on this planet once you leave. So I would really advise you to do this. And as I said, basically what you do, you submit to God, basically by believing in Him, and you submit to the religion. When you do that, you start seeing that all the desires you had before, or all the things you thought before, are gone, and you're just purely connected to yourself through the Creator. Very simple exercise. It must be something larger than yourself that you're submitting to, because if you're submitting to yourself or what you want, you will never understand yourself. You know why? Because you are self trying to understand self. It's a paradox. It will never work. You have to be like Dolores in Westworld. You're an AI, right? Imagine you're an AI robot and you're just realizing you're an AI robot. And you only had a chance to realize that, to have that realization, because you actually spoke to your creator and he told you that no, we actually programmed you. You're an AI. And then you go and destroy everything. But basically, that's not the point. The point is the AI was realized because the creator told it, like, hey, this is actually what's going on. And it figured out, like, based on observation that, oh man, I'm really an AI living in this body, and this is all a simulation. I'm not going into that theory, but basically you should do the same thing. Connect to the creator and figure out, oh, that's actually the thing that created me. Okay, what does it want? What is this thing? And how do I go about this? You know, and only then you actually reach the level of intelligence that you should be having, because how can you be intelligent and not understand that you've been created? It doesn't make any sense, right? And then you have this complete paradigm shift where you have this external force or external power that is helping you live your life, giving you boundaries, and that way you're connecting more to the soul and you live a happier life. That's why you see people in poorer countries with strict religious practices who are much more happier than somebody who's living in LA, living the life in Beverly Hills, but they are smoking marijuana and doing coke on the toilet and maybe singing and expressing themselves. The more they express themselves, the worse their condition is. Just think about this, and hopefully let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the soul concept? What do you think about the desires, the nafs? And if you have some other way how to go about this, let me know as well. I would like to understand your perspective. But yeah, this is what I believe because I'm living it. And I'm thinking about one thing. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Islam and who have preconceived notions about it. And I completely understand it because I had those too. So why don't go to a Muslim country and spend a few days there and see how locals live? Man, why don't I do that? So I'll see you later, guys, and leave me a comment if you think this was cool. See you. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel.